Dr. Lucas, what's the future for the Filipino language of Tagalog?
Okay, that's a tough question, Ricky. So it's, let me talk from my own personal perspective and just take it from there. Personally, I feel that a lot of the Philippine languages are dying. I feel very bad about that. I know there are regions in the far north and the far south of the Philippines where only a very limited number of speakers speak their heritage language. I believe in the adage that language is the DNA of culture. And if a language dies, a lot of the culture that goes with that language or which is contained in that language also dies, which is very sad. There are many nuances and many facets of culture that are so expressed and so innate and built into the language, so that if a language dies, you feel like a large amount of the culture dies. And I decry that because we are allowing a lot of languages in the world to die. I think a language every so many hours or a language a day dies in the world because the major languages are killing out the minor languages. Tagalog-based Filipino has become a major language, and I find it's killing some of the languages. Right? That's my personal view, and others might disagree with me. Let me go up front with that. I want the Philippines to keep on retaining all the 182 existing languages, and God forbid if some of them die, I pray to God that we can save some of them and record them while they're still living speakers who reflect the language and the culture embedded in this language, in these languages. So, I believe that also, on the other hand, that the Philippines, to be more unified, may need a national language as a medium of communication, a lingua franca, whence all the regions can communicate with each other. But I also believe, and this research in education in the United States and in Canada and other countries, is that people can learn other languages without killing out their other languages. For example, you are a native Filipino speaker, you come to America. It doesn't mean that you learn English to become totally American, but you lose your Filipino heritage language. I think in the research on bilingual education shows that you need your basic heritage language, your first language, as the basis where to add on other languages. Like, so if you came here and you were trained in Filipino, in Tagalog, it's important that you know your Tagalog well as a firm foundation, and on top of it, you build your English and your Spanish that you learn later. Because if you don't have the basis for at least one language, you're handicapped. You are several points back already. Whereas if you're solid in one language, in this case your heritage language, it's easier for you to absorb another language on top of that. Looks like the research are clear enough in that area. So what I'm saying here is additive bilingualism is the concept. That you can learn one language and learn other languages is the way to go. Not subtractive bilingualism where you lose one language and replace it with another. I think that is a losing proposition because you don't have the base sound foundation on which to build the other language learning. So that's my belief. So for the Philippines, I want the national language to thrive, but I don't want it to do it at the expense of other languages in the Philippines, which are spoken by many regions and many groups of people. Because if you do that, a lot of the wealth and diversity and the cultures in this one country are going to die out. So that's where I'm coming from, and I want to repeat, a number of my colleagues do not think that way. And I think this way, and I think the research in America, the movement for bilingual education, which is related to the diversity movement in the United States, will bear that out even with key empirical and research studies. So, but I think that was a tough question in that sense, as I have explained from my side.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lucas.
Thank you.